Adding a recurring character into a series is a very big deal and can either make or break the story. This is why it's really cool that Robin actually improved the Batman comics and made the character of Batman more human and interesting. Since Robin's first appearance 8 years ago, the character has become a big part of the Batman mythos and has become as iconic as the Caped Crusader himself. Today we will be talking about the first Robin who later became Nightwing, Dick Grayson. My name is Joshua C, and today we will be talking about Dick Grayson and why I love and appreciate the character so much. Dick Grayson debuted in Detective Comics 38 in 1940, merely 11 issues after Batman's first appearance. Dick Grayson, short for Richard Grayson, was an amazing and popular acrobat in the circus at a very young age. He, along with his parents, would perform in the Haley Circus, and were known as the Flying Graysons. Young Dick's life came crashing down when his parents were murdered during a live performance that was being watched by a ton of people, including Bruce Wayne. The high wire that his parents were on was cut by a crime boss named Tony Zuko, who threatened the Graysons to pay him protection money, which they refused to give. Bruce, in the live audience, saw himself in Dick. Bruce took him as his ward and trained him to fight alongside him as the crime fighter named Robin. The biggest reason for Robin's creation was to appeal to the younger audience, which was the book's main demographic. Robin was a bright-colored, energetic, and fun sidekick that contrasted with the dark and brooding Batman. Dick Grayson later became the leader of the Teen Titans, which under Marv Wolfman and George Perez became DC's top-selling comic at one point. Yes, at one point in DC Comics history, Dick Grayson was the most popular character. Dick is special because he was one of the only comic book characters who was able to grow. Usually, when major changes to a character in comics happen, they revert back to the status quo, but that wasn't the case for Dick. His transition from Robin to Nightwing was one that lasted, and that's pretty cool. The reason Nightwing stayed permanent was, first of all, because Jason became Robin right after Dick, but also because the character had grown enough personally and with the fans that he could leave Batman and be totally fine. This was thanks to good character development. But the character's growth is just a minor factor to why I love the character of Dick Grayson. I just talked about it because it seemed like nobody else was, and it should be talked about more. Personally, I love the character not because of his growth, what he's done over the years, or his really cool fighting style that is so fun to see. Those are factors to why I love him, but they're not the main reason. I love Dick Grayson because of what his personality says about the character. Let's go back to the statement I said earlier. Robin was a bright-colored, energetic, and fun sidekick that contrasted with the dark and brooding Batman. The positive and lighthearted Robin balanced the comic. This personality choice makes total sense because a group of characters in a story should be different in personality, or else the team of characters would be boring. Batman was dark, brooding, and serious, and it would only make sense for Bill Finger, Jerry Robinson, and Bob Kane to make Robin animated, positive, and fun. But by making Robin have that personality actually reveals something deeper about the character. Batman and Robin highlight each other in ways no superhero duo does. This is because of their similarities in origin story. Batman and the Joker are a great pair of characters because they faced the same thing, yet became very different people. One of them dedicated their lives to fight against crime, and one embraced crime. Many people compare Batman and the Joker because they both had one bad day that changed the entire course of their lives. But don't forget that Dick also has the same case. Comparing Batman and the Joker highlights their moral and ethical views, but comparing Batman and Robin highlights something different. It highlights their emotional states. What I'm saying here is Batman and Robin, Bruce and Dick show us two ways we can react to traumatic events and tragedy in general. When comparing Batman and the Joker, Bruce is seen as the better one in this comparison. But when comparing him with Dick, you would see that he did not deal with tragedy in the best way. You know that meme about wanting to go back to sleep in hopes to wake up as Batman even though you are already Superman? That doesn't make sense. You shouldn't want to be Batman. Sure, Batman has a mind and body at peak condition, an endless supply of cool gadgets, and an insane amount of money. But along with that comes a dark and depressing psyche. Batman, when analyzed, is kind of a crazy character. He's so obsessed about crime fighting that he was willing to adopt children and make them fight alongside him, exposing them to murder, robbery, drugs, and intense gore on a frequent basis. He was even willing to recruit a third Robin even though the previous one was killed by the Joker. Sure, he was reluctant at first, but still recruited Tim Drake anyway. In the story arc JLA Tower of Babel, which was adapted into an animated movie called Justice League Doom, it turned out that Batman had plans in his database on how to destroy the Justice League in case they became evil. But Bats didn't even inform the members of the Justice League on these plans, and the villains ended up hacking into the Bat computer and executing them. He reimagines his parents' deaths every night as motivation for him to fight crime. Bats doesn't exactly have a healthy mind and is obviously unnecessarily dark. Batman is an awesome and very cool hero to read about and watch, but he's not someone who you would want to be. Batman knows this. He knows that he is broken, which is why he took young Dick as his ward. Bruce adopted Dick so that he won't become like him, and that became true in so many ways. When I was reading about Dick Grayson, specifically in Robin Year 1, something about the character struck me. Even though it was only his first year as Robin, it seemed like he had already moved on from his parents' deaths. He is a pure hero that didn't seem affected by the tragedy that changed his life. In Batman Year 3, an amazing Batman story from the late 80s, showed that Dick actually wanted to kill Zuko when he realized his parents died because of him. But after staying with Sister Mary Elizabeth, who makes Dick realize that killing Zuko won't actually solve anything, Dick wasn't fueled with rage and revenge anymore. He moved on in a matter of days, while Batman hasn't moved on to this day. Bruce and Dick face the same violence, but Dick was the only one who moved on, and we should be like him. I love Dick Grayson because of his purity and positivity. Even though his parents were murdered, he could smile and trust people. Even though he lost so much, he could forgive, be positive, and still crack jokes. Dick is someone who isn't defined by his past tragedy, and that's why I love the character. He acts as a role model for anyone who has faced and suffered tragedy in life. Nightwing teaches us that we should accept the difficulties and tragedies in our lives, but these things shouldn't define who we are or the way we act. I actually thought of this video idea myself, but it was actually addressed in Nightwing issue 20, and that scene is really cool. The scene in which this is tackled is really cool, and it gave me literal chills. And I think that scene is what we should end this video on. By the way, the setup of this scene is that we are in Nightwing's head, and Damian Wayne, inside his mind, wearing a Nightwing costume with a helmet, is trying to make him recall what he told him when he gave him the mantle of Robin. Remember what you said to me when we first met, when you passed on the name to me. Remember, Grayson. I said, all of your father's greatness stems from his anger, his pain, his loss. That's what makes Batman. Someday you'll inherit the right to be Batman. But the mantle of Robin is mine to pass on. You become Robin to save people, to catch them, because it's the right thing to do. I've been hurt. I've lost people I've loved. But that's not what makes Robin, because it isn't what makes me. I've never let myself be defined by tragedy. I love the character of Dick Grayson. He's a great Robin that differed greatly from Batman. He led an amazing team of heroes and even grew out of simply being Bruce's sidekick. His fighting style is graceful and acrobatic, and his personality makes him fun to read. But I love the character most of all, because he's one who could smile, believe and trust in people, and stay positive in the face of tragedy. Nightwing isn't defined by tragedy, and so should we. Anyway, that's all for today. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe and tap the notification bell if you want to get updated for the next one. My name is Joshua C, and I will see you in the next comic book video.